Hey everyone, Tina McGlynn with another episode of Life and Stories. And today I'm with Christine Nargi. Did I do that right?
You did.
Yay! I always say Nargi,
Yay!
hard G, and they might be a Syracuse thing in me. Anyways, Christine, disclosure, I always do. She was my realtor. She sold our townhome and got us into this lovely homestead we're in now.
Yay!
Yeah. And also, disclaimer, you are on the board of the K Foundation. We're
I am.
thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
But the story today is I want to know how the hell did you become a real estate agent? Or why did you? Or whatever. What? I need to know. And Corey Wines want to know. Why'd you get into real estate? Tell us.
It was kind of a little quirky idea that I
Yeah.
decided that I wanted to do, but when we moved down here from DC area, I used to work with law enforcement. I have a bachelor's in criminal justice and a master's in psychology. So I couldn't do that when I got down here because of the different course requirements
Yeah.
and law enforcement requirements.
Yeah.
So I decided after living in my community, which I live in Mirror Bay, I saw a lot of disservice going on in the community, and I was very uncomfortable with it because I love Mirror Bay and I'm very active.
You're active with it, yeah.
Very active
Yeah.
in Mirror Bay. So I decided that I would take up real estate,
Okay.
and so that I could help neighbors, friends, just kind of move
Strangers.
in,
I've seen you help
strangers and strangers.
strangers,
Yeah,
yeah.
lots of strangers.
Yeah, yeah.
Move in and
Lots of
actually receive the quality service that I felt that Mirror Bay afforded them.
Great. Yeah.
So,
Mirror
and I
Bay's, yeah.
absolutely love it.
And you-
Absolutely love it.
You do more than Mirror Bay, of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. I do
yeah.
a lot more than Mirror
Yeah.
Bay, but I like to focus on where I live
Yep.
because the strangers become my friends and my neighbors.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type of person that's going to screw over anybody that I know. I wouldn't screw over anybody anyway because that was
Yeah.
a stupid statement. But it just keeps you more honest than you already are because that person's going to live next door to you. You're going to see them at the
Yes.
clubhouse.
Yeah.
You're going to go to the Mariners Club and have an event. And you don't want to go, oh, God, I sold that house to that person and I did them wrong. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I saw a lot of that going on from a lot of agents that don't live in Mirror Bay that come in and sell or bring in buyers that have zero clue because Mirror Bay is such a fantastic community and such an anomaly in our area that it deserved a quality realtor, and I know that that's me.
Yeah, no, I agree because I know just we were thrilled. You were brand new when we were selling the townhome and, helped us sell it very quickly. And then we, saw this house and we got lucky
You did, very lucky.
and we had to outbid some people. And I literally called Christine and said, what do we have to do to get this house? Just tell me. And you found out what it was and we did it and we outbid 4 other people and we are so blessed and we're thrilled to death. And you know what? Right now in this market, I know there's not a deal like this out there.
Absolutely not. There are no deals anywhere. Everything that comes on the market is gone within days. Multiple offers. People are getting rid of their appraisal contingencies. They're doing escalation clauses because everybody wants that particular house. And there are a lot of people that are walking away without winning that contract. So it takes a good agent to know what to do, how to get the best deal for their client, whether it's the seller or the buyer. And in this market, it's quite the challenge, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's interesting because a good friend of mine, Lisa, her husband and her, they live in Waterset, but had to move back to New York, and worried about selling her house. I laughed at her. I said, and it was a corporate, thing. I go, your house is going to sell the very next day, and it did
Absolutely.
because it was a whole corporate thing through carrier. And I said to her, and then they struggled. They could not believe how much they struggled to buy a house up in Syracuse. And she kept saying, in Syracuse, who the hell wants to live in Syracuse? But they took a long time. And I said to her, I I know you're dealing with corporate people, but you're going to have to do what Fred and I did. You're probably going to have to,
Spend a little bit more than you wanted
Yep.
to, make some exceptions.
yeah,
Absolutely.
concessions.
And
Yeah.
COVID really kind of sent this country for a loop because it created such a market. The interest rates have gone down to the lowest they've ever been.
Yes.
People that are living in small small homes or apartments that are now stuck together and have to work from home are deciding, oh crap, I don't like my husband or wife or girlfriend or whatever, and my kids
Yeah.
are annoying me,
Yeah.
so they want a bigger place.
Yes.
Or if they have a small place, then they need a bigger place because now the kids are learning from school.
Yes.
So it just created such a market for people needing a lot more space,
Yeah.
and there's not enough houses.
When their priorities changed too.
Their priorities
Yep.
changed too because family and doing things in your own space was more important. You
Yep.
couldn't go to the park, you couldn't go to the pool, you couldn't go to the clubhouse. So now you need a backyard instead
Yeah.
of living in an apartment or a condo. You need 3 bedrooms instead of 2 because now you have to separate your kids because they're in 2 different grades for school that you're teaching while you're trying to work out of your closet because that's where your office now is.
Yeah, because you don't have that extra room.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's created a lot of different things that we've never seen before, and it's made us have to think out of the box a lot to help clients find the space that they need that they can actually afford. And prices are increasing, so a lot of my clients are actually being priced out of areas in which they want to live, which is unfortunate for them. But there's always other buyers that are going to be able to afford, higher end homes or just whatever.
Yeah, and we, in my case, we decided what was really important to us, and never in a million years did we even think we were going to buy an older home. But it was an older home that had been remodeled, and we bit the billet, knowing, being on knowing there were going to be some challenges, but they really didn't become challenges. It was, right, you take the bad with the good, but when the good outweighs the bad, so sometimes you have to think outside of the box when right now you're looking for property, and maybe your needs need to come first, and then your wants can maybe come later.
Yeah, people are definitely going more with their needs right now instead of their wants. They want a 4-bedroom, but they need a 3.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So now they're sticking with the 3, but maybe it has like a loft or an office or a den. So there are concessions that everybody's making. Very few people are finding that perfect home, but there's no such thing unless you actually build your own.
Right.
Which, a lot of people are doing. We have a lot of new builds going on in Mirror Bay. They're going up rather quickly. So Mirror Bay is growing. We're going to be pretty much sold out pretty soon. So if you're looking to move into Mirror Bay, you better hurry. Or basically anywhere in the Tampa area, because the market is it's a seller's market.
Yeah, it is. And, as people forget, Florida is now the 3rd most populous state in the country.
Yes.
New York no longer is. And, our weather and our economy, even though it took a hit for COVID, other industries have come along, especially industries relating to remote working.
Yep.
A lot of if you're, tech, you come down here for tech jobs. So there's interestingly enough, I was reading an article where a lot of people are gravitating to Tennessee. And I was surprised. Florida was still top 5. But I was surprised to see that. But I think I know in the Hillsborough County has grown in leaps and bounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
when I moved here, Hillsborough County was the 35th largest community in the entire country.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And it's just getting more and more populated, and we're getting a lot more things. And thankfully, living in Apollo Beach, in my opinion, we live in the best place because we're lots of water, lots of local places. I love local establishments. I love doing business locally with my neighbors, my residents, my friends, my people in my town. I support local, and Apollo Beach, Mirror Bay is all about supporting local and small business. So it's the perfect storm.
Yeah, and we don't have a lot of, it's definitely not a corporate stronghold like some communities are.
Not.
Lot of small businesses. Just look at Apollo Beach Boulevard,
right.
Going up and down there, lot of small businesses individually owned,
Absolutely.
Not a whole lot of corporate, like I said, things where like that whole, the joke about Target coming into, and I was laughing at something that, Whole Foods thing. And obviously, yes, we are, getting our second Starbucks, but that's okay. They're, 5 miles apart. And
but it's our first one in Apollo Beach.
Yeah, that's true. Because the other one's technically Riverview. Yeah.
Right.
But so my next question is, if someone is seeking out a realtor, what should they be looking for when they're wanting to pick somebody who's going to help them make probably one of the biggest purchases?
Right, financial decisions. Yep. I would suggest finding a realtor that is actually going to have their back, not only financially, but help them emotionally, mentally, solve and resolve any of the issues. Like, I will hold your hand from our first conversation and not let go, because even when you move into your home, I'm still going to reach out to you, see if you need anything, do you need a handyman? I'm always going to be there like a big sister or a little sister, depending, to see if you need anything. Because as far as I'm concerned, that relationship never ends, because you'll have a friend or a cousin or somebody that wants to move in, and I've treated you so well, you're going to refer them to me. So I'm not going to slam the door on you. Okay, bye, Tina. Thanks a lot. I sold your home, and now, we're done.
Yeah.
No, that's not how I operate. A lot of people do that because it's just a business. But for me, it's a business, but it's also personal, because I build relationships and friendships that I expect to last a lifetime.
And by the way, yesterday's podcast, I said I really need to get that train schedule. Remember, that was the deal breaker for this property. And we were trying to decide, can we live with the train?
But they're just waving hi as they're going by.
Yep,
So
and they don't run at night. And that's what I told you. I asked the neighbor.
Yep.
I said, can you tell me about the train? And she said, well, it doesn't run at night. I go, and I told you, that's all that matters to me. Because that was almost a deal breaker for this
Yep.
property. And that ended up being not a big deal. It's almost soothing, you know. But when I'm doing a podcast,
Yeah, that's okay. That's just the quirkiness of where you chose to
yeah,
live. You know, it
yeah.
just gets,
Land,
yeah,
too.
land.
Land
Yeah,
is
you have-
scarce.
yeah.
In non-deed restricted communities, there's
Right.
still not a land out there. And I will say, just as a personal reference, thrilled that you knew when our big bank that we've been banking for years ignored our VA loan request, you found somebody who immediately,
Yes.
you know, solved our problem. You know, we were like, really? You know, like I said, bank we've been with, Fran and I, collectively for more than 15 years. And didn't respond to our VA loan, but your referral did. Caliber Homes or Caliber?
Yep. And that person is a neighbor and a friend. So I support neighbors and friends.
Yes.
And you just basically validated.
Yes,
that
I mean,
that's
he
exactly what it is.
immediately, no
Yep.
problems. You know, Scott gave it what we needed, that pre-approval to get this house, and he had it to us within 24 hours. And it took a whole week for that big bank to get back to us, and we said sorry.
Right.
You know, it's already said and done.
Personalized service.
Yeah, yeah. So that's important. I think being a realtor, that you know a lot of people, so you have those connections. So when I asked you, I need a good home inspector, because you know this house was built in 1959, and you had given me. That's why we didn't buy the other house, because you gave me a fantastic home inspector who was honest in pointing out the issues of the last house we could not buy because the owner was not willing to do all the repairs. And then this one, you know, again, very honest. This is what you're going to see, you know, 10 years down the road, which was important to Fran and I, because we're, you know, older.
Plan for it.
Yeah, and we plan on traveling, so we needed to know what do we need to do. So you had those, you know, valuable references that maybe not all real estate agents are going to have.
Right.
You know, it's a people business,
It is.
relationship business.
And you have to like people.
And I thought you never liked me.
You know, sometimes it's a little hard, but, you know, as
Yeah.
I'm getting older, I'm realizing that I've always been in the customer service industry. I've always
Sure.
worked with people.
Yeah.
And apparently this is my niche, so I'm actually embracing it now. So this is a growth for me, and I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying it. Yeah.
Good, because there is a lot of psychological factors to home buying
Yes.
and
Yeah.
selling. You know,
Yep.
you may have been forced to sell or whatever, or a move or what have you, and that emotional connection to your home, to your house, and
Right.
you want to transition that to putting a positive spin on somebody having to move or having to purchase in a different area.
And I
you
think
know.
in real estate, you also have to have a little empathy for somebody's situation, good, bad, or indifferent, whether it's a divorce or a loss of a job or whatever.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to sympathize and empathize with them and not go, oh, honey, it'll be okay. Because maybe it won't be,
Yep.
you know, and you just have to be able to handle those because every person's different, every situation's different, and you have to be able to read people well enough to know how to respond to them or not at all.
Yeah. No, that
Maybe
yep.
just be an ear.
Yep. Yeah, to listen. So, so our economy is, for some people, shaky. For some people, nothing ever changed.
Right.
So,
For some
you
people,
know,
the economy's booming.
yes, depending on what sector you're in.
Mhm.
So, if somebody were to say, you know, my credit's not that great in this, you know, how do I put it? In this changing environment.
Mhm.
What would you say to them? Like, what is the bottom line these days that we're seeing on financing since the prices are going up? Are they appraising to where they're going up? Is there a problem for those
Yes
buyers?
and no.
Okay.
It depends on the appraiser. Some of them are appraising well above the listing price.
Okay.
And some appraisers either don't know the area. See, that's another reason why I decided I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
A lot of like Mirror Bay is an anomaly. So when you appraiser comes into Mirror Bay, they need to be comfortable with the Mirror Bay. So we've had a few homes sell in the last year or so that we've had to actually send comps to the appraiser, send it to the lender or the title company and say, hey, these, you know, kind of we're having a little bit of miscommunication here. And then we've actually come to a mutual agreement, or the appraiser's like, okay, yeah, you were right. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that about the community.
Yeah.
So it's always worked out. But right now, a lot of people are waiving the appraisal contingency and
Okay.
willing to put extra money down if it doesn't come in.
Okay.
A lot of times they are appraising for at or just over.
Okay.
So that's really good. But if you have bad credit, my thing would be I would send them to Scott my
Yeah.
loan guy, and he would tell them, because I'm not the mortgage person, I let
Yep.
the professionals handle those things.
Yeah.
But I do recommend, like you've encountered Scott, and he did a great job for you and all my other clients.
Yeah.
But he's very good, very honest, very personal. You can call him nights and weekends, just like you can call me nights and weekends. Some people are like, especially banks, Monday through Friday from like 11 to 2 because it's COVID, so nobody's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, those are the things that I would hand over to him. But they're working with people that are kind of a little shaky credit, as long as maybe their income is good and they have a little bit more of a down payment than normal.
Yeah, because in our personal situation, the credit wasn't the issue. It was the issue that we had a business that changed names because Fran and I got married.
Right.
And they handled that wonderfully for us because the income was there, but yet
But you
because
also had all the documentation to back everything up. So
Yeah,
they were
that's
willing
important.
to put forth the effort because they do a great job.
Yes, they did, and it made our purchase of this very quick. We were in the house within 30 days, so that worked out well, and we were very thankful. And when we tell people what we paid for all the land we got, they're like, wow. And I'm like, well, we got lucky, and then the market just kept going up and up, and I tell people all the time, you have to look in areas you would maybe never consider.
Because there's gems
Yes.
everywhere. You just have to look for them.
Yep. No, I agree. So what would you say then to someone moving in the area? Someone who, if you get a
From out of
client,
state?
yeah, and they're moving into the Tampa area. I know there's always this talk about HOAs, and they have to be. There's pros and cons.
Of course, absolutely, with everything.
Yes. So I hear, I don't want to live in a deed restricted community, and I did for 15 years. But there's a lot of positives to
Absolutely.
that. There are, no matter what. And when you have amenities, it's so much like when we were in the townhome. It's so great. I mean, my house had a pool. I got tired of paying pool guy for nobody to swim the pool.
Right.
And then, went to go live with Fran in his community-owned pool. It was nice to go to the pool and not have to do any of the work.
Right.
So that was
that's
nice.
only part of having amenities in a deed restricted community and having an HOA. The one thing that, because I have a couple clients that don't want HOAs at all, and I get it. They want their privacy. They want to do their own thing and not have anybody tell them what they can and cannot do. My answers to them are always, I get it. I know you like your freedoms and you like to do your own thing. However, but do you want somebody with a polka dot house living next to you, or a trailer in the front yard, or a boat and a broken down car, and you go to sell your house? You're not going to, because now you have nobody enforcing the rules to maintain the quality of the community.
Yes.
So
yeah.
if you don't want an HOA, I'd say live out in the country where you can have 2, 5, 10, 15 acres and you won't know your neighbors and it won't matter.
Yep.
But if you're
Yeah.
living in a community and your neighbors are literally, the house is 10 or 15 feet away from you, and they kind of have that lifestyle, which is okay for them, but not for you, then get over yourself, move into an HOA community that you can handle, where the fees are not so bad, and know that your home prices are going to increase, that the neighbors are going to have to take care of their yards, and they're not going to just fall into disrepair.
Yes, yeah, that's really important. So yeah, people definitely have to, like I said before, they have to really zone in on what can I live with, right? That whole, I always say list. I used to always tell my clients, you got to go to bed.
Right.
You got to do that
have to
list.
determine which community you're looking at to determine what the level of enforcement is.
Oh, true.
Because some are brutal.
Yes.
You can't park in your own driveway. It has to be in your garage. You can't put your trash can out until the morning of trash day, and it has to be gone by noon that next day. There's some that are just absolutely crazy that it's just not even realistic.
Right. Yeah, I got my last community. I wouldn't even live there but my car was there, and I got a fine for $100 because my van stuck out on the sidewalk, and because we had a lot of cars, and even though it was a 3-car garage, there were
Right.
Yeah, I remember just laughing at that, but I don't live in that community anymore, and there's a reason why. We were one of your difficult clients. I did not want.
No, you didn't.
But luckily we right moment, this was last year when we got, or not really 6 months ago, but last year, June. But I think that I used to always think that realtors sometimes got a bad rap, and I never understood
They
that.
do.
Because kind of like lawyers, there's always, in any industry, there's always going to be people who aren't ethical. They don't do due diligence.
Right.
But it being word of mouth, right? Word of mouth.
Yes, referrals are
Yeah.
very important. That's the best that's the most positive compliment you could ever get, is somebody referring.
Yes, yeah, it is. And I certainly, if anybody I know looking for something, I'm like, I know just the person to call.
Yay.
Any final thoughts?
Um,
Somebody looking for a house today?
Quite a few, actually.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have quite a few. I've
Yeah.
been really busy this week.
So would you say that, what's the most popular area besides Mirror Bay?
South Tampa,
Yeah, still?
Sarasota,
Okay.
St.
Yeah.
Pete, Bradenton.
Yeah.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
are moving a little further south. Parish.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Those are up and coming areas.
And they're easy to get to.
They are
Highway.
easy to get to. Yep.
Yep.
Except for
Yeah,
St.
highway.
Pete. I mean, everything
Yeah.
else is right off of 75.
Yeah, but St. Pete has that, like, charm to
yeah,
it.
it's very eclectic, and
Yeah.
it takes a certain personality, and you have to be okay with traffic, and a lot of city life. But a lot of people like the city life. They like to be a couple blocks from the beach and have restaurants and
Yes.
just that type of atmosphere.
Yep, and a great public transportation system in
Yes.
St. Pete. We
Yeah.
For some reason Tampa just never got to where St. Pete was. I don't know why, but it is more compact.
Big.
It
Tampa's
is.
just-
Yeah, Hillsborough County is very very lot of land.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, land mass. But anyways, well, thanks so much for coming
you for
and
having
talking
me.
with me.
This was fun.
And this is Tina McGlynn with Life and Stories, and again, I was with Christine Nargi. Oh, I want to put a little like Tarjay. I want to put like a.
Oh, great. Here we go. Now I'm going to get calls from, is Christine Nargi there?
Nargi.
Thank you.
And who you're with? I
I'm
forget.
actually with Anchor Realtor Group, which
Okay.
is a portion of Keller Williams Realty
Okay.
South Shore.
Yeah, see, there's too much of a
I'm
mouthful.
on a team. Like, I have a team and a partner. So
yeah, and so if they want to find you, what are your digits? Or not really, but what's your email? How do we
it's
find you?
christineflhomes at Gmail.
Okay.
Or you can just go to Christine Nargi on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm in Apollo Beach, or Christine with Keller Williams Realty South Shore.
Okay.
On
Yeah.
Facebook, 813-922-1033.
And of course, as always, I'll be putting those links when I
Yes,
get the podcast up
absolutely.
on our website. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was
Okay.
good to see you.
Yeah, it was. All right, until next time. Not sure who I have down the pipeline, but I will see you guys soon.